Well, the question was a simple one, in a way. It was, how do we provision performance? What are the material and spatial resources that students of performance and theatre and acting need?
Ce serait dommage, oui bien dommage, de rester enfermé quand le printemps montre son nez. Ce serait dommage d'être aussi sage.
I've always been intrigued by Renaissance paintings of St. Jerome in his study. There are many versions, and they often show the saint sitting at a specially constructed desk that has lots of compartments containing objects of virtue, objects of curiosity. There is always a window giving access to nature. There are animals in close proximity. There is often a corridor in the distance leading to a beguiling and inviting landscape. I really envy his sense of settlement. I've always envied sculptors and writers and painters who have this place of dwelling where everything is to hand, that they have the luxury of being able to leave things, to exist in a field of things.
And then there was the problem of chairs, again, which we didn't feel was being properly addressed in higher education. But, particularly in the field that we're teaching, why do theatre studios have chairs? Why are students of theatre so attracted to chairs? What is it about sitting that is so enjoyable? I remember in the performance in on the Hoof performance lecture on the Hoof, I'd asked Chris to. I remember saying, perhaps you could throw a chair, in some way to evoke the sort of student protest at the weary supply teacher. And as Chris did throw a chair, but I could see as he threw it that he was nervous about it. He was anxious about it. He recognised the power of the thrown chair in the educational establishment.
We've always been interested in the writing of the architect Christopher Alexander. He writes that a life of a house or of a town is not given to it directly by the shape of its buildings or by ornament or plan. It is given to them by the quality of the events and the situations we encounter there. A building or a town is given its character, essentially by those events that keep on happening there, most often. This is particularly true of the canteen at Wimbledon College of Arts. This is a place of genuine interaction, unexpected encounter, an event. You may see students waiting for interview. You may see student activists giving information about political debates or sexually transmitted diseases.
Chris and I had been talking over the years about our experiences of teaching a studio theatre production module at Roehampton University in West London, and we'd been looking out of the window from the studios of a rather beautiful roofscape which had kind of embanked sides, a little like a theatre rake. It seemed to be inviting the possibility of the kind of work that the students cooped up in the studio behind us really would have appreciated. I was particularly drawn to these banked sides, mainly because they seemed to energise the space, and I wondered whether banking of this kind, or benching as it's sometimes called, could could be useful in studio design. The idea of a kind of an animated ramp, might that energize students in the way that children often run at slopes. They find them exciting, the acceleration, the gravity, or the way in which a cyclist in a velodrome can sort of use that high embankment to make a fast acceleration down. How might this help with the delivery of text, for example, or might gravity enable a student to realize an idea better than just a flat plane on which to work? These were ideas we wanted to explore.
We've often talked in our work about the relationship between the pure, clean studio space and the messy, active workshop, and how a sort of porosity needs to exist between the two. This particularly applies to tools and when they're introduced into the workplace. Not that they arrive late just to realise an idea, but that they actually add and contribute to the compositional process. It's became intrigued lately by the 3D printers. The ones at Wimbledon College of Art are called, ironically, the Ultimaker, the ultimate maker. And they're in a sense a sort of hybrid tool because they look like a miniature studio space. They look like a very pure sort of Japanese no-theatre space, or maybe the set for the latest Star Wars movie. But it would be intriguing to think how if a 3D printer were permanently within a rehearsal space, how would it contribute to the generation of performance? What would happen if it didn't just produce a prop, but it actually contributed to the composition? What would have Ibsen and Shakespeare, what would they have thought of a 3D printer? Might Yorick's skull be slowly and incrementally made during the gravedigger's speech, or might Hedda Gabler be manufacturing the gun that she uses to kill herself at the end of the play?